Alrighty, everybody, welcome to Flossmoor, Illinois. It is senior night here for the Homewood Flossmoor Vikings, and we have a girls cross-country meet for you on tap as the Stagg Chargers come into Flossmoor and take on the Vikings. Hi, everybody. I'm Jotham Israel, and Joe Sullivan will be joining us later on. First and foremost, it is senior night for the Homewood Flossmoor Vikings, a very special night, and obviously it is grateful that we have cross country to talk about, because it was very uncertain coming into this fall season with a pandemic going on. But the IHSA found it out, and now we have cross country. These girls are almost inching towards the end of their season. But we have to start with HF coach Mary Kay Pack, who Joe Sullivan sat down with.
Thanks, Jotham. Here with Coach Pack, head coach of the girls cross country team. Coach Pack, you've coached these three seniors, since their freshman year. What has that journey been like?
Well, it has been awesome to be part of these high school career. They started off as optimistic and dedicated freshmen, and they are ending that way as optimistic, dedicated leaders of this team. It's been truly remarkable to see them hit their goals, make their goals, reach them, and then help others reach those goals as well. So I'm just so proud of them and so happy to be part of it all.
With the regular season coming up, obviously it's coming to an end. And now we have the postseason, got conference regionals. What are your expectations for the postseason?
Yeah, it's been kind of a different, obviously, to have as our goal. Sectionals is our goal. We want to make it there as a team. Into that. We've had these dual meets where we're going head-to-head with teams, unlike we ever have before. So they've gotten this unique competition in, rather than like big invites, and I think it'll benefit us going into conference. And then regionals is going to look a little different as well. There's going to be flighted races. But I just want to make some noise. I want to start making some noise in the postseason. I think this is a great year to do that. And our veteran runners, like our seniors right now, in that group, and they're these younger kids, and just showing them what it is to reach goals in the postseason. I'm really excited about it.
Thank you, Coach Pack.
Coach Pack has done a really great job taking a young team, a young undermanned team, only 9 players on the HF roster, and making a great season out of it, especially with all the unprecedented circumstances that are going on right now. But with the undermanned roster, this is a very young HF team. A couple of freshmen, a couple of sophomores, but there are 3 seniors on this team, and we start with one of the seniors in Lucia Malfeo.
Here of the girls team. What is it like with your senior their senior night and their season, and now you're here with your senior night?
I feel like it's been like with on the cross country team her senior year. I feel like that was really nice to at least get to run with her once. Being here, it's really crazy to think about, because I feel like she was just a senior. And I feel like this team has really just been like emotional support for me as well. Like all these love and like seriously.
Leading up to the as senior night, how are you looking to end this?
Really optimistic for the end of the season. I feel like we have such a group of all of these freshmen are such strong competitors, and like, I don't know, I'm really optimistic, and I think we're going to do great things in conference, regionals, and sectionals.
Lucia Malfeo has a lot of motivation for running cross country. Her big sister Shallon also ran cross country while she was at HF. We also have another senior on our team who was also a 4-year starter in Lily Bosch.
The girls cross country team. Here's your senior.
It's been really, it was very small here. We've really had a family ever since to just have a good group of people to run this sport with, so it's been awesome every year. So yeah.
And leading up to the postseason, obviously you guys want to make some noise here in the postseason. What are your expectations?
I'm very excited for the end of
good underclassmen as well as upperclassmen who are continuing to drop time. So I feel like we'll be able to be really competitive in our postseason. So
Lily, back to you, Jonathan.
Obviously, the HF cross-country team has a lot of motives as the race has started already. And as we bring in Joe Sullivan, Joe, there's a lot of adversity that this HF cross-country team had to overcome through. How proud do you think this team should be of their season?
Oh, very. I mean, great way to end it here on the senior night. A lot of young talent. Obviously, with Caroline Shane leading the way. As HF's number 1, only a sophomore, and they're 2 and 3 with Grace Mullen and Emily Thompson are only freshmen. So very young, a lot of adversity with some girls leaving, some girls coming in, and some girls taking a break and injuries, obviously. But the seniors, obviously, Lily, Lucia, and Chloe are really excited to end their night here.
Yeah, speaking of one of those seniors, Lucia Malfeo, one of the seniors, she definitely does have a lot of motivation to run cross-country. Her big sister, Shallon, ran cross-country here 2 years ago, and she was a senior also at that point. How do you think Lucia has used that motivation to be the best she can be in cross-country?
Yeah, well, Lucia, I mean, she's been running since she was in elementary school, right? She did girls in the run, and even in Parker, she ran cross-country at Parker Junior High in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And when she was a sophomore, obviously, she got to see her big sister, Shallon, pave the way for that team and finish her senior night here at HF. And now she's here, and I think she's really excited to end it here. And she's really excited. She's probably a little sad too, but just very happy to end it here at HF.
All right, let's turn the attention to Stagg for a bit because they have a senior of their own that's really performing well. Carolina Rosansky has really performed really well this season for the Chargers. How do you think she will use her consistency race in, race out to try to will her team the victory today?
Right. Well, this Charger team is a lot different from the Vikings team, right? With Caroline Shane obviously being only a sophomore and Stagg being led by 3 seniors, which Caroline Shane is actually up to a quick lead, which we expected. But Stagg looks to stay up there with the pack with their top 3 seniors and hopefully stay up there with the 18s with them.
That's actually a great individual matchup right there. Shane and Rosansky, both players have really played, ran well this season. Mid-18s, sub-19s, they've really are at the top of the standings almost every single race. How great of a matchup will that be today?
Absolutely. I mean, Rosansky's really going to have to stay with Shane because Shane gets out to a quick start. She really wants to get out fast with that first mile, as it looks like they're going to turn right here past the tennis court, and she's out fast. Rosansky is nowhere to be seen here, but as we expected, Shane's out to a quick start.
Yeah, that's a lot of green grass in between Rosansky and Shane. So HF is really off to a good start right now.
Absolutely. And Shane obviously has a lot of experience here in this course, so she's looking calm and collected out with this quick start. But she's really trying to get out to that mile quick and eventually end it in the low 18s as she's been all year.
HF looks to be off to a good start as the middle of the pack is starting to come in the favor of HF. So HF has some runners that are in really good position. So the team has gotten off to a good start overall.
Absolutely, as freshman Grace Mullen here, right here with Stagg's number 2. And Emily Thompson, Lily Bosch, and Chloe Cassidy here as they're following the leaders here. Really strong pack here for the Vikings.
HF has a lot of runners in the middle of the pack, but as we see some of the runners, there are a couple more Chargers in the back than there are Vikings. So this is exactly the start that HF wanted with Rosansky behind Shane and the other runners really, keeping up.
Absolutely, and Shane got out to a quick start. We expected that, but what really was important is those 3 seniors in that back of the pack to stay together and stay in that pack and really move up as much as they can. And right now, great start crossing the softball field with Lucia, with Malfeo in the back, right behind Cassidy and Bosch. So the girls really want to stay up, try and get towards the leaders, but Shane out to a quick start.
Yeah, and that is the matchup that people really have been focusing on, because those two have proven to be really quick with their times in the cross country. Like I said, mid-18s consistently. So I have to ask Joe, because obviously the great individual matchup is one thing, but both teams seem to be very well rounded. How do you think the middle of the pack will factor into the final results?
Well, I think they're a big factor, obviously, right? You got the 1 and 2 battle, great individual battle, with those two girls running in the 18s, and Sally, they won't have a state meet this year. But those two girls definitely can compete at state in the 18s. So they're really two of the top runners here in the south suburbs. But it all comes down to that 3-4-5, because it's top 5 scores. And Thompson and Cassidy and Bosch are really important and really key to the team score here in the dual meet.
And the HF runners, those three seniors do bring a lot of experience. You have 2 4-year varsity runners, and then Chloe Cassidy, 2 years in a row on varsity, and then shout out our junior year, coming back senior year. So how do you think Cassidy has done with coming back after a year off?
Well, Cassidy's actually a big softball player. I mean, she's been playing really her whole life, and started running cross country in middle school. Really good at it. Went to a few track and field state meets, and ran across straight at state at cross country as well. But she's here, and she's back for her senior year. And she decided to, come back and end her cross country career here at HF.
I talked to one of the Stagg coaches earlier, and Rosansky has kind of had an up and down last 2 years. She actually got injured during PE class with weightlifting. So she has had to overcome a lot mentally and physically with trying to get back in cross country. Here she is running mid-18s, sub-19s. How impressive has Carolina Rosansky been?
Well, Rosansky, I mean, cross country is a really tough sport when it comes to, dedication and staying positive, because it's hard. I mean, this is one of the hardest sports there is when it comes to it plays a lot of mind games, right? It also physical, but you really gotta push yourself. And obviously weightlifting, injuries there is really tough, and it can be a big setback for a lot of runners. But she's here, and she's back in business running in the mid-18s here for Stagg.
Yes, definitely. And also there is something about this 2-3 punch that HF has. They're both freshmen. So, and like I said earlier, Coach Pack has done a really great job of developing these players and getting them ready for the top spots. How bright is the future for HF?
Oh, it's very bright. I mean, you look at the boys' side too, right? You got their 1 and 2 of freshmen and sophomore as well. So both James Hart and Parker Junior High have great cross-country programs. I mean, they've had it for the past decade. They've been fantastic when it comes to individuals and even in teams competing at the state level for middle school. But I mean, really good talent here for both the Vikings cross-country teams, with the girls having their 2-3 freshmen and a sophomore as their leader. And Coach Tag is very happy about that. I mean, she's got a lot of talent coming her way once they get to the junior and senior level. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the south suburbs, and hopefully, compete in the state meet.
Now, usually when you think of cross country, you don't exactly think of home field advantage, but we had a couple of fans behind us, a couple of HF students behind us with posters and supporting and all that. How do you think the runners are taking that energy and translating it into faster times right now?
Well, I mean, every sport here in the IHSA, has had limited fans, really, and most sports haven't had any fans at all. But cross country is a little bit different, right? Obviously, it's a little spaced out, and it's a 3-mile race. So we got a big group of fans here, over here by the softball field, and I think that's also a big confidence booster, especially in cross country. I mean, I have experience with running cross country, and having your teammates and even some fans really help you during your race is very important and very helpful.
They definitely have created kind of like a game day atmosphere so far. So, I mean, HF, it's a really, iconic sports program, especially for high school. The Kedzie Crazies. And even during the pandemic, they still find a way to show out.
Exactly. I mean, obviously no football this year. A lot of football fans are sad. And a lot of high school teams here in Illinois are really sad that there won't be football. But there are other sports here, especially in Illinois and at HF. So obviously, cross country, really loves to see some fans out here, and looking to see that in the winter and the spring.
Yeah, and obviously it's not even just just the students. We have also athletes supporting other athletes. You saw Alex Barrera, one of the HF varsity golf players. Yep. You also saw Anna Keeter. These athletes are really supporting each other.
Yes, a group of tennis players here, really coming out to support their friends and their classmates and their peers. Not really getting to see them every day, obviously, due to the coronavirus, and not really being here in school was really tough for them. And it's really tough for the athletes. So, we're here, and I think, friends and family are really happy to see some supporters out here for the girls.
Yes, and speaking of support, some students, during this e-learning era of the academics, they have had to, be advised on, how to handle school during e-learning, because being a student athlete is already crazy enough. Now you have to stay at home, and, that kind of decreases, physical activity. So how do you think the players have done with handling both e-learning and still playing a sport in the fall?
It's a big change for them, especially, it's a big difference from what it's been like for their whole lives, right? Not having e-learning. In last spring, starting e-learning, just going in and getting assignments on Google Classroom, right? So, it's probably really tough for them. There are pros and cons to e-learning, but, having sport really and having to run and having the girls be with each other is very important, especially for their mental health and just being around people, because, it's hard to really be around people during COVID-19.
Yeah, and obviously, the pandemic has proven to taking some of our, best hobbies away for at least a short period of time. But right now, it's very, satisfying to see that sports, at least some of them, have come to return. But it wasn't easy, because it's not like cross country is not like a sport like tennis or golf where you're absolutely isolated all the time.
Absolutely, and I was kind of surprised that they even, were for sure on having cross country, because once you get to the state meets and the bigger meets and invitationals, obviously with HF you've seen a lot of dual meets, but once you get to the bigger meets, you got 10, 12, 14 teams really all compact together on the starting line. And once you get to the state meet, it's like World War Z out there. Just sprinting on the starting line, and it's really tough. But you look here, and it's only dual meets right now, which is good. But it's probably really tough for them. You have to start on the starting line. You have to wear masks, so it's a little different from usual for them. But I think they're ready, and I think they're kind of used to it now, running with only one team.
And that's another thing. With new circumstances brought forth new procedures, because obviously the masks have become a very key part of trying to, soften down the pandemic. How do you think these players have fared with trying their best to both stay healthy and be the best athlete they can be?
You look at cross country, right? And it's really one of the sure, every sport you have to be really fit for, but cross country, you really have to take care of your body, right? You have to eat well, you have to, ice your legs, do ice baths, and all that good stuff, even with track and field. Running is a very, very hard sport, and it's very important, and one of the most important things about running and to become a great runner is taking care of your body. So, I'm sure it's been tough, obviously, sitting in their homes for the past few months, and now being here, having school, and being out here again, running cross country. But obviously, I think they're kind of used to taking care of your body.
Yeah, and that's especially considering that cross country is basically track times 20.
Yeah.
So the players really have done a great job of staying in shape. But when it's time to get into the race, these girls out here are still running 18s, 19s. How do you think they've been able to handle the fatigue?
Well, these girls have been training even through the summer and through the spring from last year, right? Especially you look at the top runners like Caroline Shane, she trains all year round. And you can see really the difference from athletes, especially in cross country, that train in the off season and that don't. And I think it's tough, especially being stuck in your home, just not being able to go anywhere, especially from last spring. But for cross country, you can go ahead and take a run. You can go ahead and take a jog around your block or around the neighborhood. And I think especially these HF girls are really taking advantage of that.
Yeah, and obviously, like you said, putting in the work over the summer, Carolina Rosansky has definitely done that. I talked to her coach, and she said she ran 500 miles over the summer. That is a heavy workload, but it definitely pays dividends right now.
Absolutely. I mean, after an injury, too, that's really, really tough, especially in cross-country and running. It's really tough to, come back from a tough injury like that. And 500 miles is a lot. I mean, that's every day, taking a long run, maybe a speed workout. I mean, it changes, but that's a lot of hard work over the summer. And you can tell right now that it's really starting to pay off once we get to the postseason.
Well, these runners have just crossed the path at North, and we are going to go ahead and take a break here on VTV. You are watching Vikings Chargers Cross Country.
No matter what your goals are, Prairie State College has the program you need to start on the path to success. Find what fits at Prairie State College.
Hey, we still need Chloe's interview, so I think once.
Why buy when you can borrow? Stop by today and check out More Than Books.
All right, welcome back to Flossmoor, Illinois. HF Girls Cross Country Senior Night against the Stagg Chargers. And Joe, as we approach the end of the regular season, what do you think are these girls' mindsets going into this wacky postseason?
I mean, it's really going to be wacky, right? Not having a state meet and really limited teams here at the regional and the sectional meet. But I think, the freshmen, the younger girls are very excited, maybe a little nervous to get out here and compete in the postseason. But I think these seniors are really, really excited, to get out there and compete for some regional, conference, and sectional titles.
Yeah, because obviously sectional is apparently the new state here.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you look at every sport, right? All the 6 sports here in Illinois is that they're looking, to really expand the teams here at the sectional because that's really going to be their state.
Well, we have our first runners making their way near the finish line. So, HF, we got a runner on the loose. That is a lot of green grass in between the HF and the next runner. Wow.
As Shane is way out in front. We can't see Rosansky right now. But Shane is only on second in one meet this year, and that was her first meet at the SWSC pre-conference meet. And only a sophomore. She's won every other one, and she's kind of used to this feeling of being alone and really following that gator.
My goodness, the distance is so massive. She might catch up to the tractor that she's trying to chase.
Yeah, she's really trying to beat her record here at the HF course, and it looks like she will. As she's way out in front. Can't see any runners behind her.
She just passed the Home of Flossmoor Community High School sign, and we still have not seen a Charger runner, Joe. So Caroline Shane has really dominated this race.
Absolutely. As she turns the corner here in the straightaway, she's picking up that pace, trying to catch that gator here, but she's way out in front, and she's going to take the win again here at HF.
Wow. She may not have caught the gator, but she definitely chomped the competition. What a run by Caroline Shane.
She's a little gassed here. Way out in front.
And Shane, while she finishes, it looks like Rosansky is now making her way around the tennis courts.
Yep, she's going to run past the soccer field here.
Still the leading runner for the Stagg Chargers, but Caroline Shane just absolutely blew this race away.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of a gap out at the quick start here, right before the mile marker by the softball field here at HF, but, I mean, really tough here for her. And as you can see, Shane got a big lead, and she stretched it out during that second in the mile-and-a-half marker.
Rosansky may not have gotten first overall, but she has still gotten a lot of distance from every other runner but Caroline Shane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, running in the 18s is hard, especially, in this weird season that they have. And Rosansky's a senior, and coming back from those injuries, she's really trying to end her career here at Stagg in a great manner. As it looks like Grace Mullen here. Grace Mullen, the freshman here, number 2 for the HF girls cross country team. Is turning the corner and making her way down Governor's Highway.
She's also got a couple of chargers behind her. Let's see if she can keep the lead in this last stretch here.
And like we said, I mean, the 3, 4, and 5 is going to be really important because right now it's a tight team score with HF having the 1 and 3 and Stagg having that 2, 4, 5, and it looks like they're going to have 2, 4, 5, 6 here. So hopefully we can see a few HF girls pass this tennis court right behind this little group here at Stagg, because I mean the girls they're really trying to win this team score, and it looks like Emily Thompson's going to make her way past the tennis court here.
Outside of HF's top 2, we haven't seen a Viking runner in a while. It's been 3 straight chargers coming around the tennis courts, but now we have a couple of Vikings coming across the tennis courts.
Looks like Bosch and Thompson are sticking together here. For the 3 and 4 for HF, they're really trying to help out this team score.
This race is starting to get really, really close now, Joe.
It's going to go down to the wire with those last few girls here in the top 5.
It can be really tough to keep up the fatigue.
As Grace Mullen, the freshman, make her way down the straightaway.
So Mullen will finish second for HF, third overall. That's a big placement for HF, having 2 of the top 3.
Absolutely, and these 3, 4, 5 really need to pick it up because this is a tight team score. Got a pack of 3 girls here for Stagg making their way down the straightaway.
And it looks like we're going to have an even finish here so far, as one of the chargers seems to have hurt herself. As she crossed the finish line and her hip looked like it gave up on her. I hope she's all right.
As another charger makes her way across, and the charger's 4th is making her way down the straightaway. As Thompson and Bosch are almost here in the straightaway. They really need Cassie to pick it up here if they want to have a chance to win in the team category, as she's got 2 Stagg girls right in front of her.
Wow, so Stagg, after getting only 1 in the top 3, they got the next 3 runners in. That is huge, as we have 2 more HF runners coming in to close the gap as we come into the final stretch. 2 more chargers come in.
And Cassidy makes her way down the straightaway.
You can see the athletes that we mentioned before, the fans coming in with a home field advantage, so to speak, as Cassidy finishes.
And it looks like behind Cassidy we have a little bit of a gap, but Lucia Maffeo is going to make her way down here.
The Chargers runner that appeared to have injured her hip, she's on her knees now. Good to see that she can get up on her own power.
Yeah, right at the finish line right there. Here's a little tweak and gives a little screech there as she passes it, but would be a really tough injury for Stagg here, especially with one of their top 3 runners.
Yeah, she obviously did a great job in keeping Stagg in a great position as Maffeo turns around the corner, and she's going to finish her race.
This will round it up for the seniors here for the HF girls cross country team, and this will be their last meet here, and it's very sad, but also some happiness as she crosses the finish line here.
The injured charger is now on her feet. Good sign as HF gets another runner in. And another one of the Stagg chargers getting ready to come around the corner.
Yep. She's going to make her way along the straightaway with a group of 2 other Stagg runners making their way down Flossmoor Road.
So you got a few Stagg Chargers in the back of the pack. This looks to be a very, very close result, Joe.
Yes, really close. I mean, it's gonna come down to, did that 3-4 for 3-4-5 HF pull it off with this dual meet? Because, with the dual meet, it's obviously one-on-one, right? I mean, you can't, obviously that 6 and 7 matter in case, one of those 4 or 5 go down, but there's no breaks here. I mean, there's no, hole. You can't be a hole here for a team to win here in the dual meet, and it's very important for those top 5 girls to, really get out to a good start, and it looks like they did.
It looks like this race is over. Obviously, Stagg kind of took control of the middle of the pack, but Caroline Shane really put HF in a good position to probably snatch this win away from Stagg.
Absolutely. I mean, she got out fast, and she extended her lead right when we got to the mile and a half, 2 mile marker. Here with cross, once we got to that last half mile, you can see she had a huge gap here by the finish line.
It's crucial, obviously, because you're running for 18, 20, 25 straight minutes, and sometimes you don't even know if the pressure's on you in terms of team placement and finish.
Right, exactly. I mean, you can't look at the scoreboard. You can't ask your coach, hey, what place am I in? Because you got to go. I mean, every runner here in cross country, and especially in a dual meet, count. It really counts toward the team score.
Well, as the officials and the team sort out the team score, we're going to take our final break here on Viking Television. You are watching Girls Cross Country HF Senior Night, Vikings Chargers.
Here with senior cross-country member of the girls' cross-country team, Chloe Cassidy. Chloe, you've been running since a freshman, took a quick break junior year, but now you're back here for your senior night. What has that journey been like?
It's been a great journey. I've gotten so close with all the girls. Me and the seniors have been running since freshman year, and it's just such a small team, so everyone gets to know each other well, and it's just like a good support system, and running is fun sometimes. So, yeah, cross-country's been great.
And now you got the postseason coming up. So what are your expectations for regionals, conference, and sectionals?
Well, we could go to sectionals, maybe not totally all the way to sectionals. Go team.
There you go. There's Chloe Cassidy.
So the race is over here in Flossmoor, Illinois, but obviously this is HF Senior Night, and one of HF seniors, Chloe Cassidy, she started playing, varsity cross country as an underclassman. First 2 years she was on varsity. Then she took a break her junior year, but now she's back for her senior year of cross country. Here's Chloe Cassidy.
Flossmoor Animal Hospital is a full-service professional veterinary healthcare for your pet. Our mission is to offer the best animal healthcare available. Flossmoor Animal Hospital, providing excellence in pet healthcare.
The Viking Broadcast Company would like to thank its 2019-2020 gold sponsors: Soteria Construction, Portion Associates, Thanks Fusion Asian Harbor, Every Tooth Counts, Pop's Italian Beef of Homewood, and Art for Soul. Viking Broadcast possible without the generous help of our.
So correction, we have one last HF runner making her way around the course. She is approaching the finish line, and obviously the top 5 scores, they seem to be really, really close, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw that 1-3 punch for HF, but we had a 4-5-6 for Stagg. So, I mean, that's going to be very important, and we'll see if Chloe Cassidy edged it out for HF. But really important right there for Stagg to get that 4-5-6 spot, especially with HF having that 1 and 3.
Yeah, and obviously Caroline Shane we talked about the individual matchup between Shane and Rosansky, how critical it was going to be for those two players to run their best times and put their teams in the best positions possible. Shane surely did that for HF.
Yeah, and she keeps her streak going as she's won every meet except the first meet. Shane has had a really big jump from last year. Last year, her first meet from this year at the SWSC pre-conference meet jumped her time from over 2 minutes from her PR from last year. So her PR this year is 18 flat, which once they hopefully, I mean, maybe next year or the year after they get to Detweiler Park and compete at the state meet, hopefully she can compete for a title, and because it's a really fast course, and those times will jump up once they get to the state meet.
Yeah, and Shane, she also ran an AT30 later, earlier in the season, and that performance that she put on today was definitely enough to best at least one runner for Stagg in Carolina Rosansky, but Rosansky still put her team in a great position to get the overall team win too.
Absolutely, and with Mullins coming in the third spot, it's really important that that Rosansky got that second spot, because if HF has that 1 and 2, that's a really tough punch right there for the Chargers. But Rosansky stayed with it, and she pulled out the second place right there.
Obviously, the biggest question, Joe. Obviously, the bottom of the pack was mixed. Stagg really took control of the middle of the pack, getting 3 straight runners in the middle. But obviously, the big question is, was it enough to get the overall win? Because, like you said, HF had 2 of the top 3.
Yeah, and I mean Bosch and Bosch is really key right there. Falling right behind Emily Thompson there for the 4th spot. That 1-2 is going to be very important. And then we have those 2 Stagg runners come in after that. So will Chloe Cassidy did she pull it off, and will that be enough for HF? The question is still up in the air.
Yeah, and we also did talk about the impact that the seniors had, but as we approach the end of our senior night here at HF, we're going to take another break, our final break here on VTV. You are watching the Girls Cross Country Senior Night, HF and Stagg.
Welcome to J&S Gold and Diamond Exchange. We're here to buy, sell, or pawn things of value. We have been here in business since 1964, servicing the community.
Stop by Melody Mart and join us for all of our diverse and fun music events. Don't forget to mention you're an HF student to access special deals and discounts. Visit MelodyMartUSA.com to join our music community to stay in the loop.
Welcome to St. John the Evangelist, the Episcopal Church in Flossmoor and Homewood, located on the corner of Park Drive and Levitt Avenue in the heart of Flossmoor. St. John's is a community where all people are welcome to explore their faith.
So once again, we have another correction. There was another HF runner still way back in the pack, so this race was not over, but still, the top of the pack is what really is going to determine this race.
Absolutely, and in cross country, they take the top 5 scores, add them up, just like golf, and whoever's the lowest score wins the match. But HF girls are really trying to get a confidence booster here, leading into conference, then regionals, and hopefully they compete for a sectional meet. And I think they're really excited to get to work and to really compete for in the postseason.
So as we inch towards the end of senior night, I have to say, the weather was magnificent today.
Absolutely. I mean, all week it's been a little chilly, it's been a little windy, but today we hit the 70s and we stayed there for a long time as it's nearing 6 o'clock and it's perfect weather right now. I mean, perfect fall weather and a beautiful day here for a cross country meet.
Yeah, I almost feel bad for wearing a sweater right now. It's so gorgeous out here.
Exactly, man.
And obviously, the night ending, as the sun is setting. I mean, textbook stuff here for senior night.
I mean, beautiful. The sun sets as we are here for our senior night, and the three girls are very excited to end their careers here at their home course and get ready for postseason. So yeah.
Well, let's see if the third time is the charm for me, because the back of the pack seemed to have a really big gap in between it.
Yes, it did, and we'll see what this team score coming soon. So.
It looks like the athletic director, Mr. Like, and HF coach, Pack, it look like they're communicating with others. It's been a really, exciting race so far. I mean, it's been a very exciting day. We've had some, interesting results. Obviously, some big leads, giant leads, and very, very impressive show that these girls have put on.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really, really exceeded expectations here at this meet. Once we get in, that October weather, and sometimes the November weather, if teams make it that far here in the cross country season, it starts to get cold and chilly, and you don't see these days, like that a lot in October here for cross country. So I think they're, the HF team is really, excited to in their home course, their last meet on the home course with a beautiful day here.
Well, the Chargers, they surely ran their hearts out, but they have to turn around and go back home on Thursday. That is very short rest. They have 2 meets in the span of 3 days.
Yeah, and in cross country, that'll pay a toll here in the sport, especially with the stamina and how they take care of their bodies. So it's really important for both teams, or for Stagg right there, to get ready, take maybe a day off, get maybe a long run in before Thursday, and go back on the course and compete. So yeah.
Looks like IHSA's referee is communicating with the coaches. We should be getting the final scores pretty soon, as we have some families and some fans congregating here on HF Senior Night. And like I said before, man, it's been a lot of support here at HF.
Yes, a lot of support. Don't see this here a lot in the pandemic with all these fans, but cross country is very unique when it comes to the 3-mile radius in the course. So it's very important. And it's a big confidence booster here for the girls, and the coach, and the parents to see some fans out here.
Okay, it looks like the third time is the charm for me, because they are actually taking the flags down, meaning that this race is over. Unbelievable show that these girls have put on today. I mean, the individual matchup between Rosansky and Shane, that definitely lived up to the hype. They must have had some really quick times, because they got around that course in a hurry.
Absolutely, and those two were way ahead of the pack. I mean, really, really, really good dual battle with those two, and a good dual meet for the team. So as they celebrate here with the girls and the rest of the younger members of the team, they're very excited to get into the postseason, and hopefully we can see Shane compete for a conference, maybe a regional title. She's really trying to go back to that SWSC preseason meet and not get second. Try and get that first place spot. Only as a sophomore, and she's really been training all year and all summer just to get that #1 spot here at conference.
And Shane has definitely stepped her foot on the gas pedal after that second place, because she has not looked back. Like you said, she's been pretty much dominating every single race from that point on.
Absolutely, and she's really looking to break 18s once we get in the postseason. Hopefully she can get a little bit of some faster courses. Right here at the HF course isn't too fast, a little bit hilly, but once we get to the flat ground here at the postseason, we can see that we could see Shane break 18s and hopefully, get into those mid-17s and compete for a regional, maybe a sectional title.
Well, I did say earlier that this was a very close race, and the question was, did Stagg's middle pack do enough to get the win? And the answer is yes, they did. Stagg takes this one with a 26, and HF has 30. So it was a very, very, very close race today.
Yeah, that 4, 5, 6 pack barely, just really was important and really got them the win right there. Bosch and Thompson couldn't edge it out. We're just behind that pack, and just wasn't enough as Stagg takes the win here.
Yeah, and although HF and Shane did it in a losing effort, you got to give credit to Caroline Shane for coming out and absolutely just blowing away the rest of the racers early.
Absolutely, and it's not easy, running by yourself. Across country, usually the best times we see across the state and across the country are when we're in big packs, big meets, and the runners at the front are pushing themselves. But Shane didn't really have that today, and all year she hasn't had that. As she's really been alone in the pack and been alone all year as she takes the big win way out in front right here for HF.
Well, even though HF couldn't pull out the win today, still a day of celebration as we see seniors meeting up, seniors getting their posters, meeting up with their friends. Obviously, like I said before, the chemistry has been really, really tight here at HF in all sports.
Yeah, and they're ready to get to the postseason. The regular season is about done here for the girls, and they're ready to compete.
Well, senior night may be, the race may be over, but the festivities are still going on. But that is going to wrap it up for us here at VTV. It's been a great race here at Flossmoor, Homewood Flossmoor. They couldn't pull out the win, but in a valiant effort, they did put on a show. Stagg takes it 26-30. For everybody here at VTV, for Joe Sullivan, I'm Jotham Israel saying good night, and we'll see you guys next time.